You're running harder than ever, pushing yourself every single session. And somehow, you're still slow, still gassing out, still watching your heart rate spike like you're sprinting when you're barely jogging. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. Here's the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. You're not getting slower because you're not working hard enough. You're getting slower because you're working too hard. Every single run. And that distinction right there, that's going to change everything for you today. If you caught the last episode, we talked about building your base, getting your body ready to actually train, not just survive workouts. And if you didn't watch it yet, go back. Seriously. This series is a journey, and every piece connects. Today, we're going one level deeper. Because once your legs are moving, the next thing that breaks you isn't your legs at all. It's your heart. And I don't mean that in a motivational poster kind of way. I mean literally. Your cardiovascular system is the bottleneck, and most runners have no idea how to fix it. Drop a comment right now if you've ever finished a run feeling like your heart was about to explode, but your legs felt totally fine. Because that's a sign, a big one, and we're going to talk about exactly what it means. All right, let's get into it. Picture this. 2 runners, same age, same weight, same training schedule. One of them runs a 10K in 48 minutes, struggling the whole way, heart rate maxed out, barely holding it together. The other one runs the same 10K in 46 minutes and looks almost bored doing it, cruising, breathing easy, heart rate sitting comfortably while the first guy is dying. What's the difference? It's not the legs. It's not the shoes. It's not some magical training plan they found online. It's the engine. Your heart is an engine. And just like a car engine, the more efficient it is, the faster you go using less fuel. The less efficient it is, the harder it has to work, just to keep you moving at a basic pace. And here's the brutal part. Most runners spend years training their legs and completely ignoring their engine. They get stronger quads, better running form, fancier gear, and they're still gassing out at mile 2 because the engine is still weak. That's not a leg problem. That's a heart problem. And no, I don't mean something is medically wrong with you. I mean your cardiovascular system hasn't been trained to be efficient. There's a massive difference between a heart that can pump hard and a heart that runs efficiently at a lower effort level. One of those things makes you look like a warrior in a 30-second sprint. The other one makes you a better runner over weeks, months, years. Pensa nisso. Now let me expose something uncomfortable. Because I see this constantly, and it makes me want to flip a table. Most runners, and I mean most, run every single run too fast. Not sprinting, not intervals, just consistently above where they should be. They go out, they feel good, they push a little, heart rate climbs, and they just stay there every day, every run, grinding themselves into the ground and calling it training. Ridiculo. Here's what's actually happening. When your heart rate is constantly elevated above a certain threshold, your body stops adapting the way you want it to. Instead of becoming more efficient, it just becomes better at surviving. That's a completely different thing. Surviving a hard run feels like progress. It feels like you're working. But the actual aerobic adaptation, the thing that makes your heart stronger, more efficient, and capable of delivering oxygen to your muscles at a higher rate, that happens at a lower intensity than you think. This is the secret most runners ignore, not because it's hidden in some advanced textbook, but because it feels wrong. It feels too easy. And our brain is wired to believe that if something doesn't hurt, it's not working. Para. That thinking is exactly what's keeping you stuck. Okay, I already know what you're thinking, because I've heard every version of this excuse, and I want to address them right now. But I don't have time to do slow runs. I only have 30 minutes a few times a week. Okay, fair. But let me ask you something honestly. How's that working out for you? You've been running 3 times a week for months, always pushing hard, and you're still at the same pace. You're not improving. You're just maintaining your current level of mediocrity. And I say that with love. But slow running doesn't feel like a real workout. I hear you. It feels embarrassing. You feel like people are judging you. You feel like you should be going faster. But here's what's actually embarrassing. Being slower 6 months from now than you are today because you refuse to train smart. That's the real embarrassment. My watch says I burned fewer calories when I run slow. Sure, in that one run. But the runner who trains aerobically consistently, who builds a strong engine over time, that runner burns more calories over the course of a week, a month, a year, because they can handle more volume without breaking down. You're thinking short-term, and it's costing you long-term results. Seja sincero com você mesmo. How many times have you gone out for a run, pushed too hard, felt wrecked afterward, and then skipped the next day because you were too tired or sore? That's not discipline. That's self-sabotage dressed up as hard work. All right, here's where things get real. There's a concept called Zone 2 training. And before you tune out because it sounds technical, stay with me, because I'm going to make this stupid simple. Your heart rate has zones. Zone 1 is basically walking. Zone 5 is, I think I'm actually dying right now. Zone 2 is the sweet spot. It's the place where you're working. You're definitely not just strolling around, but you could still have a conversation if you needed to. Maybe it's a little uncomfortable but not painful. That zone right there, that's where your aerobic engine gets built. When you spend time in Zone 2, your heart gets better at pumping blood efficiently. Your muscles get better at using oxygen. Your body learns how to produce energy aerobically instead of constantly leaning on your anaerobic system, which burns out fast. Over time, and I'm talking weeks and months here, not one run, your pace at that same comfortable heart rate gets faster. You're running the same effort level, but covering more ground. That's not magic. That's adaptation. And here's the part that messes with people's heads. In the beginning, running in Zone 2 might feel embarrassingly slow. Like, you might have to slow down way more than you expect. Some people even have to walk. And that's okay. That's information. That's your body telling you that your engine isn't where it needs to be yet. The solution isn't to ignore that signal and push harder. The solution is to meet yourself where you are and start building from there. Você já fez isso? Honestly. Have you ever gone out for a run with the intention of keeping your heart rate low, no matter how slow it forced you to go? Most people haven't. They let their ego run the session, and their ego is a terrible coach. Now let me give you something practical, something you can actually use starting with your very next run. Get a heart rate monitor. Doesn't have to be expensive. Your phone watch, a chest strap, whatever. You need real-time data, not estimates, because your perceived effort is a liar. When you're in a running groove, you think you're going easy, but your heart rate is at 175. You need to see the numbers. Then figure out your Zone 2 range. The simplest way, not perfect, but good enough to start, take 180 and subtract your age. That's roughly the top of your Zone 2 zone. So if you're 35, we're talking 145 beats per minute as your ceiling. Go out and try to stay under that number for your entire run. The whole thing. No exceptions. It's going to feel awkward. You're going to want to go faster. You're going to feel like people are judging you. Let them. They're also not improving, so you're in good company. Do this 2 or 3 times a week consistently. Keep your other runs, if you're doing intervals or tempo runs, as your hard sessions. But protect those easy runs. Defend them. Because that's where the real work is happening underneath the surface, even when it doesn't feel like it. And here's the thing nobody tells you. The progress from Zone 2 training isn't linear. For the first few weeks, you might actually feel like you're going backwards. You might feel slow, sluggish, even frustrated. That's normal. Your body is literally rebuilding its energy systems from the ground up. Keep going. At some point, usually around the 4 to 6 week mark, something shifts. Your Zone 2 pace starts creeping up. You're running faster at the same heart rate. And that feeling? That's one of the best feelings in running. Because it means your engine just got an upgrade. Mas aqui está o que ninguém te conta. This doesn't just make your easy runs faster, it makes your hard runs faster too. When your aerobic base is strong, your body can sustain harder efforts longer before hitting the wall. Your recovery between hard sessions improves. Your race times drop. Your legs stop dying at mile 3. Everything gets better. Not because you pushed harder, but because you built smarter. Let me bring this home with something real. Think about the best runners you've ever seen. The ones who make it look effortless. The ones gliding by while everyone else looks like they're fighting for their lives. Those runners didn't get there by grinding themselves into dust every day. They got there by doing the boring, consistent, unsexy work of building their aerobic base over a long period of time. Years, in some cases. They ran slow when it was supposed to be slow. They ran hard when it was supposed to be hard. And they let their body adapt instead of fighting it. You're not going to outgrit a weak engine. No amount of mental toughness makes up for a cardiovascular system that hasn't been developed. You can push through pain, sure, but you can't push through physiology. Your body has rules, and the sooner you work with those rules instead of against them, the faster you're going to get. É por isso que você não evolui. Not because you're not tough enough, not because you don't have what it takes, but because you've been training your willpower and ignoring your engine. And those two things are not the same. So here's your wake-up call, and I need you to actually hear this one. The next time you lace up and go out for a run, I want you to make a decision. Are you running to feel like you did something? Or are you running to actually get better? Because those two things produce completely different sessions. One feels harder. The other one is harder. In a different way. Because slowing down, checking your ego at the door, trusting a process that doesn't give you immediate feedback, that takes more discipline than just grinding through another painful run. Train your heart. Respect the engine. Stop treating every run like a race you have to win. The runners who get this, they keep improving years down the line. The runners who don't, they plateau, get frustrated, and eventually quit. I don't want that for you. That's why I'm telling you this straight. But here's the thing. Once your engine starts developing, there's another piece to this puzzle that most runners completely overlook. And it has to do with how your heart is actually being trained, not just when. There's a specific approach that can make your cardiovascular system respond faster, adapt smarter, and translate directly into race performance almost immediately. That's what we're getting into in the next episode. Train your heart, not just your legs. And I promise you, if today's video was a wake-up call, next week is going to be the strategy. the actual blueprint for turning that engine into something powerful. You're not going to want to miss it. Hit subscribe so you don't sleep on that one. And, seriously, drop a comment below right now. Tell me, what's your current easy run pace, and how does your heart rate look during those runs? I read every single one, and I guarantee you, seeing other people's answers is going to teach you something too. See you in the next one.